Hey, welcome back. This is your average esports podcast, episode 26, and with me this time is Skim, as per usual. And we have a lot of different things we can go over since it's been a while, so no point wasting any time. So, first up, we're going to talk about the Battle Royale games because they are, I don't know if they're the future necessarily, but they're coming up there. PUBG is. Has had a lot of recent news lately. Like there's a WSOE that just came up, and then they have the Global Invitational, which I assume is going to become their World Championship one day. Like I don't know if it's going to be in like Berlin still or what, but I haven't really followed it. But Skin here has told me he knows a bit about it, so go ahead and tell me what you know about those events. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There might be clones on the way. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that sounds pretty awful. Um, mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty good, but I only watched it for like 20 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, it's a. I guess it's when you think about. I guess I don't know. I just when you think about the comparison of these esports games like PUBG and Fortnite compared to like the ones previous, like yeah, there were big streamers in all the previous games, but it feels like the streaming side of these recent battle royale games is bigger than is like proportionally feels larger than the competitive side. But I don't actually know if that's true. That's just the feeling I get. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that's the only other one I could think of, but it's a bit different. It's it's interesting, I guess, just because like if you just look at the timeline of the various esports that are like risen up, like like I don't very few of them ever like rise up to like prominence in the first 1 or 2 years. Like it usually takes some time. Like even in like the case of Overwatch, that took like it's not even that big yet compared to like where they want it to be. So like all this stuff takes a lot of time, and I don't think there's like a necessary guarantee that it'll necessarily make it. But it's interesting to watch because like the problem I guess like a lot of people have a lot of problems I see is like when you look at esports in general, like a lot of people don't differentiate between game to game, and I feel like that's like a very important thing you have to do because each game is going to come with its own like various distinct unique problems. So so like even though like broadly speaking from within like one category to the next there's there's some overlap, but how each like game solves those problems is generally it has to be done in like their own way in a sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Schrodinger's esport. We will see. We'll see by the end if whether they're alive or dead. Mm-hmm. That's that's how it always goes. Oh, our game isn't dead. Our game isn't dead, and then like 3 years later, oh, it's pretty dead. Like okay, like you you don't really know until the end. So uh, it's pretty interesting, I guess, because like I'm looking through the teams at the Global Invitational. Like I only recognize a few of these teams as like pretty top tier, like Navi, Liquid, and then after that like OMG. But beyond that, there aren't that many like very big esports orgs in it yet. Gen G, I suppose. Gen G, just because they have like the Overwatch thing, but that's also like a trash title. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's more Overwatch than CS:GO. Okay. Mm-hmm. They got everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So like energy, optic. Yeah. Envious. Yeah. I see. Dignitas. Yeah. Pretty decent lineup of organizations. I don't actually know if their teams are actually good or not, but at least we know the organizations are pretty legit. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, there's an argument to be made about Dota 2, as in like just the way that model works. Like in the event like all teams left, like I still think it would be fine. You know what I mean? Like it really like, but that's a very unique model. Like nobody's ever bothered like replicating it. Whereas like I this is like an off topic point, but like when you look at organizations, you can kind of tell when they're what's the word I'm looking for? Trophy buying, I guess, is what like because every once in a while you'll get like a small game. Like Echo Fox did this famously when they were like getting trash in CS:GO and League of Legends. Was they bought out like 8 or 9 of the best like fighting game players like ever, and then like basically that whole idea was even though we're shit in the other games, at least we'll have like a level of pedigree, even though like those are like smaller games, right? For like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, uh, Melee, like that's kind of how you can tell, I guess. But obviously, I'm not actually behind the scenes, so I don't necessarily know about the money. It's just like the impression I get from the various different communities I follow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like my opinion about that is like you have to grow it in a sense. You have to grow those backgrounds. You have to grow those histories. And even though PUBG's technically been around for a little bit, like I don't really feel like it had a lot of esports tournaments until just recently. So I feel like that part is only will probably grow in time. So it's not that surprising they're low. Like I think maybe they're just following like I don't necessarily want to call it the GSL model, but basically like in early StarCraft two, in order to like build up storylines of the players very quickly, they did a shit ton of tournaments at the very beginning. Like it was like 5 or 6 or 7 GSLs in like 6 or 7 months or something crazy. Like that, I think that's basically what PUBG is probably going to have to do. Is like you have to quickly build up that history. Like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Richard Lewis is doing the WSOE, so yeah. So I'm not. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like, I'm not actually. I'm neither positive nor negative about this. Like, I basically have like the same feelings about this as I do about like Overwatch. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know until the end if, whether it's alive or dead. Well, I'll have to see till then, right? So, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. The 040, yes, my dream. A true trash team, yes. Yeah, like just like I know Richard Lewis knows his shit, so I'm not worried about that. So, um, yeah, I think that like covers it for the PUBG Fortnite stuff. We'll move on to Overwatch League because perfect transition, I suppose. Basically, as far as I know, there's rumored to be like 6 slots, 6 more franchise teams coming for season two, and 2 of them have been announced. One in Guangzhou and the other in Atlanta. I think one of them was Cox or something, and then I don't know about the Guangzhou one, but I do know Cox has always had bad internet, or at least that's like the rep. But it doesn't really matter, I guess, for Overwatch League. But basically, here's the big point. I think going into this one, if I am counting, if I know my players, and I don't actually know them, but like if I know if they all have that mentality of I want to win, at least some level of it. They don't need a lot of it. They just need some level of it. I think all the best players in China will go to Guangzhou, and I think that will give me a chance to get the 080 dream for Shanghai Dragons. like surely, right? Surely, like because it's not like it's a draft system. You don't have to go to this fucking Shanghai Dragons. You can you can go to Guangzhou, and you know what? If you're a very smart, like a very smart Chinese player, you might think to yourself within the last year, you know what? If I just learned English, maybe I have like better chances. Like anything is fucking better than Shanghai Dragons. Let me tell you. Yeah, yeah. None of the Koreans, like I don't even know how they got the Korean players to be honest. Shanghai Dragons, because they were all joining this fucking sinking ship. Like that they were already 0-20 by the time they joined, and it's like it was already really bad. So I don't even like. Basically, if any of those Korean players stay in Shanghai Dragons, that literally means the rest of the league thinks they're shit because they have like no other prospects. Yeah, that's how I'm reading it anyway. So actually we haven't talked about Overwatch just in general. Like how do you like it? The first year. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Quarter 3, 2017. Rest in peace. Yeah, the MC. Yeah, it's Golden Boys. He did some Overwatch stuff before the Overwatch League started, but he had like some contractual issues because he was doing another job, and that's why he wasn't part of the cast the first time around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not that. The games were all right. The games were not that great, like because of the stomp, but like everything around the finals was good, but like the games itself was um they sold out, so it worked out, right? Like like even like the biggest doubters were like that's like legit, like that's a really good job to like have sold out that venue already. So like I still have doubts just because we actually haven't seen Overwatch as the within the vision that they concocted as, because right now everybody's still in LA. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like basically, as far as I know, everybody's already burned out from season 1. Like the players, the casters, the teams, the staff, all that. And this is only like a league with this, and there's even more teams coming in next season. So that means more games, most likely. And then on top of that, you're going to be traveling. Like that's worrying to me, I guess, just from like a player standpoint, because like when I look across like esports in general, like the more professional and the more money you put is within an esport, strangely, conversely, the player conditioning gets worse. As in, like they're more likely to burn out. Like it's actually really funny to me. Like the people who talk about it the most end up like burning out their players out the most because they're the ones who like understand how to get the most money out of them, so they require all that extra content, all those extra games and stuff. So it's like and like that comes into like the round robin style format. So it's like that's like one of the other things that worries me. I guess, I guess in terms of like overall, I thought it was pretty. I thought the product was very good. I thought like some of the teams were very good. I thought their best story was actually had nothing to do with their standings. It actually had to do with Fisher and like his revenge against the London Spitfire. that that was great because like he has like such a large personality, but like unfortunately he didn't get to. He had like the entire weird ass thing at the playoffs, but whatever. I guess the only other thing that really concerns me is like there's this weird culture going around. Like I talked about it with some other people, but basically like they're trying to say like winning isn't the most important thing. Like I don't say it's like the only important thing, but it's like it is the most important thing of all the things you have to value. So like I'm a bit concerned about that because like I feel like at that point you're no longer a competition, but I don't necessarily think that's like relevant to the actual league or players or teams. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do it. They didn't even do a true round robin this time. Like, basically, like the standings are such that like, you can like, some teams actually got easier routes than the other teams. Like some teams got to play Shanghai Dragons more. Basically, like think about it that way. It's like that's not really fair, is it? So it's like, and that's like not even fixed yet. So like, they have to look at the format, I think, but it has to be a compromise between like competitive integrity, money, and the fact that they're burning everybody out. Yeah, kind of like it's just there, but they haven't really implemented it very well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Pacific and Atlantic Conference or something. Mm-hmm. So like NBA, I guess. Basically, like the NBA works like it's gigantic round robin, and then like all teams are put into Western Conference or Eastern Conference, and then the playoffs is like all everybody in the Eastern Conference has a playoff bracket, everybody in the Western Western Conference has a playoff bracket, and then the winner of the Eastern bracket plays the winner of the Western bracket in the finals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's also less money, so like that's a problem with them. It's like like they have to guarantee like a certain amount of money for everybody, but like because of that they kind of like I said, it's like a weird balancing act between a bunch of different factions. Because like if you want more money, you want more games, but if you have too many games, everybody gets burned out, and they also have too many games. Yeah, it's like a weird cycle. So it's something they are gonna have to figure out because like they're the only people with this problem. I think. I guess League of Legends also has this problem in a sense, but yeah, it's just really complicated. Like currently, my biggest problem with Owl, like another one, I guess, is like it feels like the playoffs are too short. I think I said this in another podcast, but they basically need to extend it from 6 teams to 8 teams next season, and just have like a regular 8 team bracket. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 12. Yeah, that would have been pretty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. I think it covers everything for Overwatch League. We'll move on to a different shooter, CS:GO, and I guess I'll touch on this a little bit because you were actually there. ESL won Cologne. What did you think of the event? Oh, I mean, you watched it though, right? Did you watch it? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's tough because Big made it this time. Surprisingly, surprised us all. The most neutral like CS:GO battleground turned into like all Germany because Big made it to the playoffs. Uh, but yeah, what did you think of it? What was your experience? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that miracle run can go keep going forever. Someone had to stop Big. Cloud9 last time. Oh yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. They basically did the most damage and nades. They had like the most blinds and nades. Yeah. Yeah. They also like control. They basically like the way they played like the with just the smokes. They sold out for the most amount of time compared to everybody else. Like, there's no stat for it. It's just my eye test tells me like they use their nades like exceptionally well. Like the only other people that do it that at that level is like a Strawless basically. So that's pretty good. And as far as I know, it all comes down from the German master God B, like the mastermind. Yeah, they also use like a very cool like double op setup. Like it's pretty interesting because like it works directly into their utility style, or basically because they have the double ops, they can hold off using their utility until they absolutely have to, and and like the more time they buy with double ops, either you get a pick or like you don't have to use the utility immediately because you're controlling specific areas. And then you also have like Smuya as a like wild card aggressive element in the team. That also helps. And then also it turned out Nex was really good here. So a lot of good things happened for them. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Like like basically he's never been at this level. It's like been like 4 years since he showed even the potential of this level. It was like something ridiculous. So yeah. They will be at the major challenger stage, I think. So we'll have to see them there. Basically, as past the player break, and then like here's the thing: is like you give Godby enough time, he will find some kind of battle plan to get them through the Swiss system. Like basically, that's how they abused it the first time around in like Krakow, I think. Or like they figured out everybody would let them play Inferno, so they found like a bunch of things to use on Inferno to win. So we'll see how this one works. Let's see. After that, I guess we'll go to the minors because basically all the minors are done, right? So yeah, Americas. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Choked. Yeah, that's my prediction anyway. Like there's a whole bunch of young players except for like Daps who doesn't necessarily have like that legendary status, or Fugly who's like a more experienced player. But like the other three, their main stars are all like really young in their careers at least. So yeah, I feel like they just choked, but like Complexity and Rogue they did make it through. So what do you have to say about Complexity making it through? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's always really random. Uh, Virtus Pro got snatchy now, so they've saved themselves. Uh, yeah, Hellraisers has walks. We'll probably have Woxic at this event. Mm-hmm. Basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The nerves can get to them. Tyler was hilarious. Like you can study them, but you won't understand until you play them. Like that's the impression I get with like a bunch of these teams is they don't really understand. Like they can study a team, but they don't really understand what it's like until they meet them in the server. And like Tyloo has like such a like specific style to them. Like I think they could probably make it out just because like the amount of play teams that will be prepared for that style will be pretty low, even if like they study them because it's different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably Windstrike, but they are actually in the Legend stage for whatever reason. Shoutouts to Valve. Fucking Valve. Okay. But yeah, beyond the Americas, I think that was like the most interesting of the stage of the minors. CIS, you have like Spirit and Hellraisers making it through. Hellraisers, no surprise. Spirit, I think they're okay, but I think they're probably. I, I don't think they're gonna make it out. I'll just go ahead and say it. Hmm. Yeah, that's my guess. I might have picked Gambit just because like they've been so disappointing me for so long, but they got Blade, and Blade is like he might be able to salvage them as a coach, and they have a lot of time, so we'll see. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. They have the individual skill, don't they? Like fucking Hobbit, a Duran. Mm, anybody? Yeah. I mean, I think there's the fact that I go ahead and say like there's like two instant locks at least going from the challenger stage, like Astralis and Team Liquid. I think. Yeah, I think they're instant locks. Like I think they're a tier above everybody else here. So even then, it's gonna be like real rough, a real rough. Yeah, I think North is doing like North have the tactics, but they don't have the individual skill. But yeah, I've seen them, but like at this level, I don't think it's a problem necessarily. Like I don't think they'll get much further than the legend stage, but they should be able to make it past here. Like NIP actually like the fact that they struggle so much through the European minor is what makes me think they'll make it through the challenger this stage, because like it forced them to grow up in a sense. Like, but we'll see. Like, cause like the last legs of that tournament basically have like Force and Get Right having to carry them. Like as long as like Blade doesn't have, as long as they don't play Gambit, I guess, and like Blade doesn't ruin them again. Like, I don't know, that could happen again. Like that's basically like what sent them down this terrible spiral in the majors to begin with. Was they met Flipside once and then it was never the same. Yeah, so a lot of interesting matchups going into this one. It's like obviously the saltiest one is probably gonna have to be North versus Optic, I assume. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of hatred going around. It's my it's what I enjoy. It's what I like to see from my teams. Yeah, man, you got to prepare yourself for the photoshops. If somehow complexity beats Optic here, send them all to config. Send them all to config. This one's not that bad of a draw considering. You start with that first, and then after that it's like randomized ish. Yeah, so yeah, beyond that, like I guess Asia pretty standard. I feel like Renegades and Tyloo both pretty good teams. Both should have won out. They did. Not much else to say there. So we'll have to see. This is also coming after the player break, so and DreamHack Stockholm, so it really, like, they have plenty of time to ramp up by then, I think. The one before Boston, or is it the one before? It was like, it might have been like Atlanta then. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting though, because I do know, like, at least historically speaking, like the team that might be most affected by this is MIBR, because like after every like player break, it usually takes them some time to ramp up again. But obviously, it might not affect them this time because they've been like declining ever since they came back. So maybe it won't affect them this time in that sense. They do have Yanko as their new coach, but like I'll have to see. Like I don't really like the style they were playing before the player break, which was like they kind of reverted back to their old LG SK days, and I feel like they have to go like Cloud9 or like the first version of Phelps, basically. Like I think they have way too many aggressive players to play Cold Zera style CS, basically. Which is weird because like there's fucking superstar, but I mean that's a fucking problem. That's a fucking problem for them because like their best player plays a different style from the other four players. Yeah. Yeah, right. Like they have to make a choice here. So I'm curious to see which way they'll go, but at the end of the player break, because they'll have a lot of time to think about it, and they actually have a lot of good minds on that team. even without including Yanko, but now with Yanko in there. So we'll see. We will see. They're the most like he has like it's a very confusing job going into that one because you have to make hard choices no matter what you do. Almost. I'm gonna go and say I think Astralis will kill everything. They could challenge Navi maybe. They could challenge Navi maybe, but Astralis is a bit too much right now, man. Yeah. Yeah. Just because they have American players now. Hmm. I mean, they didn't really have a coach before then. Like I know, like Dead was technically standing behind them, but he was like more of a manager. So, but like I think this is just really good because I feel like Fallen is like I feel like he had too much shit going on, like straight up, he had like too much shit, like because he was like falling as a player, and then he was doing with this roster issues, then he was doing the organizational issues, and he's like the leader in a sense of all these different things. So, and then now they have like to deal with the fact that like Cold Zera is like a hungry dude, and I mean that in like as a compliment, as in like this guy is never satisfied no matter how many victories you give him. He'll be like, oh yeah, I got a major. Let's go for the next one. Guess the next major. Let's go for the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. Like this guy only wants to win. So I feel like that's actually part of the problem with their like team, their team identity, is like if they don't give Cold Zera the victories, like I feel like Cold Zera might just leave, and that's like been rumored. Like maybe he might consider hanging out with Taco. Maybe he'll go play with Nico. Who knows, right? Like this is a very this major is going to be very critical for specifically for MIBR and how they go moving forward. Having said that, I think Fallen's still one of the greatest like leaders of all time. So even if like Cold Zera left, I think they could figure something out. Yeah. Col- yeah. Yeah, man. Think. Listen, this is gonna be a Charles's major, so we're just gonna assume. For a moment, let's just assume that happens. Charles wins. Like they have set a map pool. They're like fucking killing everybody. They're like innovating the utility usage. Like they're just fucking amazing, no matter how you look at it, right? So if we assume that, right, like Cold Zero has like hell of a choice because he could go to Liquid and team up with Taco and Zeus again, or he could go to FaZe and make a super team even more super. Like there are some fucking crazy choices out there for Cold Zero. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also think like if G2 fail, I think I think that might be just enough for Shocks to be desperate enough to bring back NBK, and then that's when you get the fucking French super team. Like I think that's like the last move they need to make is to get NBK back in. So, um, or Apex, I guess. Like, but apparently, like they don't really get along with. They think Apex is a bit too aggressive. Either of them work for me. Um, but yeah, I think that's enough talk for the London Major because still a long way off. A long way off. Actually, just a month or so. But it feels like a million years away from me. Just because we have so many other things in between then and now. So go to the summit and yeah, Dota Summit 9. I wasn't able to watch all this. I think I was watching something else at the time. I forget what it was. Like Mm, yeah, they had more viewers. They had some kind of like per hour thing compared to Overwatch League. But I think I was watching something from his Counter Strike. I'm not exactly sure, but whatever. There's like there's too many things to watch basically. So you're gonna have to walk me through this. So let's just okay. Go ahead. Okay, that's a bit more than me. So mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Years of experience. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I guess Misery's turned out to be a good coach, right? Like, because I do remember watching this team before Misery joined. Like, oh, there's like some potential here, but like the fact that they got 1-5-5 here was surprising in my view. Even with like the concept of the fact like none of the NA teams really practiced before going in. And most of the stuff I did see, like I agree with you, like basically Fnatic is still Fnatic. Like Eternal Envy is like still playing like a 3 as a carry. They're basically trying to get Abed and DJ to win the game. Universe is solid, typical stuff from them. EG, I feel like they still play EG style in a sense, like like farm a shit ton, like play all 3 lanes, then run over the game with their individual skill. I don't necessarily know if that's changed, so I'll have to change enough like from what little I saw. So I'll have to see going into like TI, I guess, because that's the next time we see them. Optic was pretty much Optic, I guess, like an unpracticed Optic, I guess. That's the best way to put it. Like they're glimmers of like what makes them good, but they clearly haven't like been practiced yet. And VJJ Storm is still like VJJ Storm. Like I didn't really like beyond Pain and EG. My views of these teams haven't really changed. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, unless it's like a high pressure situation, they're not going to choke, and they usually don't choke in under those situations that often, unless it's like TI. Mm-hmm. Yeah, visa issues. I would have liked OG. I would have liked OG versus EG. Personal preference. Yeah, like you don't want Pain to DCU basically, because they got two of the members. So yeah, yeah, I basically agree. Like we'll have to see though. I'm always very iffy about majority of these events. Like right before TI, like I know they used to think there was like a fucking curse. Like, oh, you won the last one. Surely there's no way you're gonna win TI now. But like Liquid already broke it, so no worries for EG in that regard. I still have, but like in the other regard, I still haven't seen EG under pressure. That's like my problem with this event. Is like I always think EG ever since like PBD left, they crumble under they crumble under the highest pressure situations. Obviously TI, and then Fly also did it with OG at TI. So like this hasn't really told me about their greatest weakness going into TI. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like yeah, we're not gonna see that until TI actually happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when you get there, like when you get there, basically, like I'll put it this way, like um, so okay, so my favorite example I always go to is like MVP. So go to Game 7 of the GSL Finals, and you cheese Squirtle, and your cheese gets scouted. Your cheese gets found out. What do you do in that fucking situation? Like basically MVP like goes all in again and he wins the fucking game, right? With his broken ass spine with 5 slip disc. And so that's basically like basically you need like a certain mentality, a certain willpower, and EG hasn't shown me that since PPD left. But you look at these other teams that are going TI, like I think Liquid has that in fucking spades. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like has shown glimpses of it. Like they haven't shown it at TI specifically, but they've shown glimpses of it throughout the year. Um, it's not even like they played bad in those games either. So it might just be the case like they're not chokers, but like they don't rise to that moment like fucking Liquid did. So like that's my problem with this current EG is like because when we think about PPD's like TI5 run, like they rose to the fucking moment. Like same thing in the TI6 when they got to like third place. Like what for whatever reason PPD was like the common element. I don't know why, but it just seems to be the case. You there? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, basically like when it comes to TI, like I almost always just bet on like the most mentally strong team there is at the event every single time. Every single time. Like I don't care about the meta. I don't care about the patch. Whoever is not going to fall under the pressure, that's my team. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But meta will certainly play a part. Part of it. But like the fact that they have like a superstar mid is like one of the best players in the game. Like, mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's also how like CDEC got so far, like because of Shiki and Lino, like not being a burden for so long until the finals. Yeah, like basically, he's a fucking genius because like he played a bunch of sleight of hand tricks and somehow got into the fucking finals. It's like, yeah, you totally have a Lesh, guys. Why don't you believe me? We totally have a Lesh lid. Totally did it. Totally did not. But yeah, I think I think about it follows it because we are going to do like a TI show probably. So we'll say the juicy talk for later. There's one last thing I want to cover though for TI that won't be part of the TI show is the talent list because I think that came out like a shit ton of people. So any general thoughts about this? I think it's all pretty good. Yeah, I think I think Machine will be the ferryman. He will guide he'll guide these dead Dota players to the next life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really funny because like you actually want them to be at their best at the finals, not at the beginning. So it's I guess they finally caught on to that or whatever. But yeah, I think this is pretty good for everybody. I also see like this like I think somebody said like this is like the largest Russian host they've had in terms of like Russian talent list. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That sucks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. And last thing I'll note on is like YAEP is coming to analyze at TI, which is strange because as far as I know, you get more money doing it in China for a Chinese person for the Chinese players. Yeah. So yeah. So my prediction: some Chinese player, whether though unnamed, will have a visa problem. And what do you know? It's like, let me pull a resolution and take you guys to the fucking top eight or finals or whatever. That's my prediction. He could probably fucking do it too. Fucking Xiao. Damn. It's too bad for Xiao. Xiao's plan. Mm-hmm. And then yeah, but I assume Xiao's just going there to make a public apology to all the Wings players, and then they will reunite and fail for the next year until somehow they hit the right meta, and then be like, oh shit, they were good all along. Like, listen, man. Like, here's the thing about Wings. They probably should have stuck together as a five because I don't think any of them individually, except maybe Faith Beyond, could have made it out into the top tier anyway. And together they're like more than they were separate, and they had like such a fun style. So may as well stick together. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cinderin has returned. Thank God his TI aspirations did not come true this time. Mm-hmm. Toby Cinderin. Yeah. So I think that about covers it. I think that's everything. Anything else you want to ask? Talk about? All right. All right. See you guys later.